This is the S&P 500 one-month overview reading for August 2022. It's currently July 17th, 2022, 10:39 p.m. So the overall theme and behavior for the month is the debauch card crossed with the futility card. So what we have is a breakdown through a support to meet a secondary support, bounce along that sideways for a bit, and then we break down through multiple supports. But it's crossed with, even in the face of seemingly overwhelming headwinds, we still move higher. So an interesting kind of combo here. The behavior on the high, we're going to have a notable move on a 1 month chart. We'll see notable moves to reach the month's high or highs. It looks like we may even hit the high 4 times. Interesting. And then behavior out of the low, there'll be a fast sudden move higher, marking the end of a period of decline, and that'll be what forms the low. Out of the lows, we have a correlation to that futility card, an opportunity to position oneself on both sides of the market, which means that we may go lower, matter of factly, in September. Which, when I look at the 1 year, it is possible. We have a low in August, a low in September. It's possible they're connected. And it's also important to point out towards the end of July, early into August, we have, I'm advised to be prudent. There's going to be domestic unrest highlighted. In early August, we should see an important resistance level that's highlighted. It looks like an opportunity near the high to position in both directions. It appears like we have the high probably towards the beginning of the first half of August. And we have an important bottom here. Look at that, the debauch card right here, boom. So this is a significant drop then. Debauch card. That's what I call congruency. Means it's extra significant. All right, so let's get into it, guys. We have a prominent month's high or prominent crest on the first in the midst of a big move to the upside. There's 4 local highs. So what I mean by a local high is that on a 1-day chart, you'll see a prominent high, and so that there's 4 local highs. It means you'll see 4 prominent crests on a 1-day chart of the first. All right, so one will take place when on a 1-day chart we have a big move, a prominent move higher. Another one will take place when we have a fast sudden move higher, marking the end of a period of sideways rotation. Another one will take place in the midst of some volatility, and there'll be a sudden drop within that volatility, and that'll be like out of the high. And then I'm advised to be cautious near one of these, probably the first one, because it's multiple highs, so it'll make it look like it's the high for the day, but we'll see it again. There's also a swing trade opportunity in the midst of the rally and to open up a short position. We have a swing trade opportunity on the second as well. In the midst of a rally, there's an opportunity to open up a short position, and we should see towards the end of the day, into early on the third, we should see a move higher through. We should see like a peak there. There'll be a move higher through resistance. We won't stay there too long, and then we'll break back down through that same price level. It looks like we have a sharp drop on the third. Look at that unicursal there on the third, full card, ruined card, end of a, yeah, I mean, we're on point. This month's going to be so on point, my friends. And so we have like a full retracement here on the third. A full retracement either of the move higher on the, that's likely what it is. There's a move higher into the end of the day on the second, and then on the third we retrace that. On the fourth, there's a prominent crest, not a month's high, but a prominent crest. It looks like we have a full retracement actually, like on the 4th, 5th. There's sideways fluctuation there. Sideways S formation between a horizontal resistance and support on the 4th, and a swing trade opportunity again to open up a short position. I sense like the pivot point there is right between the 4th and the 5th there. And then on the 5th, we have the completion of a bullish trend. Well, somewhere around the 5th, it looks like it probably carries over into the 8th. But there's a rally that, with a prominent move, and then we fall, like there's the end of a bullish trend, and we fall pretty sharply towards the end of the day. Another prominent crest for the month on the 8th. Oh, and there's one local trade, one swing trade opportunity on the 5th. By swing trade opportunity, I mean like you buy in and you hold overnight for maybe a day or a few days, something like that. It's not a day trade, but there's an opportunity, swing trade opportunity there in the midst of a notable decline. It's also correlated. The 5th is also correlated to the debauch card, so we should see a sharp decline there. And then it looks like we have more rally, a big move over the weekend, like a gap probably up, and we have a crest that we fall from on the 8th through multiple support levels. There's one local high, or excuse me, one local low that forms near multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance. And again, there's a prominent crest there. Yeah, there's a prominent crest there, and possibly again there's a prominent crest there on the 8th, 9th. I'm advised to buy protection towards the end of the day on the 9th, so likely that crest is there. But we have a agreement between two leaders that affects the masses in a substantial way. Highlighted on the 9th, there's one local low that forms near multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance. On the 10th, we have sideways fluctuations with a bullish trend that precedes a decline. We also have another swing trade opportunity to open up short position. On the 11th, we have sideways rotation along an important support level that's highlighted, like on a 1 month chart or on a year-to-date chart possibly. There's a support level that's going to be highlighted here on the 11th. And we move sideways, rotating along it. We rise a little bit, meet the closest resistance, and then we come back down and move sideways along that same support. Swing trade opportunity to position in both directions, and one local low that forms. There's sideways fluctuation, sideways fluidity along support level, with equal amounts of bulls and bears moving sideways. On the 12th, we have a correlation to the futility card. We have a 1 month crest, or excuse me, a 1 month trough here, correlated to the 12th, a debauch correlation, and a big move to, a futility card correlation and a big move to the upside. One swing trade opportunity position in both directions, and it looks like big move, especially towards I'm sensing the end of the day there. Yeah, boom. But there's somewhere around the 12th or 15th, there's a big decline. I think it probably gaps down over the weekend on the 15th, and then we move higher on the 15th, successfully turning resistance into support. Yeah, I think we probably gap down on the 15th. On the 16th, we have sideways price swings with a bullish trend, slight bullish trend, and a swing trade opportunity that involves a sharp decline on a one-day chart. Looks like we have some sideways fluctuations with bullish trend over these like over the week here, like the first few days. So we're moving higher, gap down, but then we move higher. Gap down on the 15th, but then we move higher. Sideways fluctuation with a sharp decline in there, but we're moving higher. We turn resistance into support, and then we on the 13th, or excuse me, on the 17th, we break down to and through support level, and then we turn around and we rise back up and use that support level as support again. Swing trade opportunity in the midst of rally opportunity to open up a short position. On the 18th, we have a failed attempt to break through a key resistance level followed by a sharp decline through key support. And likely a prominent trough there towards the end of the day on the 18th or on the 19th, but sharp decline on the 19th. And matter of fact, somewhere in there between the 18th and the 19th, there's a bit of a rally like towards the end of the day, but then we have a sharp decline again. So there's a trough in there, a month's trough, likely the month's low there. Matter of fact. And then we go into Mercury retrograde, so that makes a lot of sense. We should see a reversal of some kind there, either an acceleration of a sharp decline, or we should see a reversal. Usually there's a reversal at retrograde when we, especially when we hit like stationary. On the station retrograde, I should say. On the 22nd, we have a U-shaped dip that takes place near intersecting perpendicular trend lines, and we're now in the shadow of retrograde. There's a swing trade opportunity to open up short position. Looks like that U-shaped dip is towards the end of the day. Either that or something hidden comes to light towards the end of the day there on the 22nd. On the 23rd, we have a notable move to the upside. Oh, excuse me. There's also a swing trade opportunity on the 22nd to open up short position. So I'm seeing a lot of positions, opportunities to open up short positions, and then some opportunities to position for both sides of the market. So this is definitely bearish. There's bearish sentiment here, or bearish guidance, I should say. But I'm advised to be nimble as well. On the 23rd, so we move higher. There's a notable move higher. We possibly push the upper end of the range higher. There's two trade opportunities there. Maybe the end of a swing trade and the beginning of another one, or maybe a day trade there. But we have one trade that involves a sharp decline on a one-day chart. It'll stand out, and the other one involves a failed attempt to break through a key resistance level that we expected to break through, and then that turns into a decline through key support. There's one local low. It's a prominent low on a one-day chart. It'll stand out. We also have a correlation to a sharp decline here. Interesting. Well, yeah, so it looks like towards the end of the 22nd, really, we have that sharp dip, and the end of the 23rd is really when we have this big push higher. On the 24th, there's a cash-in opportunity in the midst of a prominent month's crest or high. There's a trade opportunity involving a sharp dip on a one-day chart, and there's one local low that forms near multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance. And it looks like towards the end of the day on the 24th or into the 25th, we have a month's high or a month's crest there, and a sharp decline off of that month's crest. We revisit past problems. There's a swing trade opportunity on the 25th to open up a short position. We have multiple tops, multiple local highs, I should say, here on the 25th. One takes place when we have a notable move to the upside on a one-day chart. Another one takes place involving a sharp move higher, fast move higher, marking the end of a period of sideways rotation. Another one forms when we have, in the midst of a period of volatility, there's a sharp dip out of the high, and then I'm advised to be cautious because there's multiple highs there, multiple false highs. Notable reversal. Notable reversal on the 26th on a on a 1 month chart. There'll be a prominent reversal there. It'll stand out. It looks like there's a rally along a diagonal trend line breaking through horizontal resistance, meeting a secondary resistance, and then pulling back to somewhere between those two. And also somewhere towards the beginning of the day on the 26th, there's a move higher through resistance. The important resistance, we stay there briefly and then we break back down through that same price level. On the 29th, important news comes out early in the day. There's another move higher through resistance, followed by a decline, full retracement back down through that same price level. Looks like we have a high midday. Something important, something really important or big move there towards the end of the day, and a swing trade opportunity to open up short position. On the 30th, we have one local low takes place when we see a notable the completion or the breaking or halting of a rally marked by a sharp decline through an important support level, and that'll move into the low. When we still have like this same thing going on, we have a move higher through resistance followed by a sharp decline. Month's low or prominent trough. Probably a month's prominent trough here on the 31st, in the midst of a sharp decline and an opportunity position in both directions, going into the next month, into September. The sneak preview card for September is an opportunity to open up long position in the midst of a steep decline on a year-to-date chart. All right, guys, that's August S&P 500. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. You can always put some comments in here if you want to see more stuff, something you want to see. We can probably do that for you, but really appreciate you watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do so. That's the best way to support us. And hit that follow button, hit that share button, and much appreciated, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. Most importantly, when you make that money, pay it forward. I'll see you guys on the next one.